What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stranger Things Has Happened. We're on season 2, chapter 8, The Mind Flayer.
Oh, yeah.
My lovely co-host here joins me, Luna Girl,
Hi, friends.
and
And
we are.
and my bro over there, Mr. Snooch. So, haven't seen you in a few weeks. How was your holiday?
It's not worth bringing up. To be perfectly honest with you, I slid through it. I made it to the other side, and that was the whole. That was it.
Slid through it on a big steaming pile of dog crap. Like, wee.
No, I mean it wasn't so much that. It was just. It was a holiday to get through, not to enjoy.
I hear ya. I completely get it. Completely get it. Padawan went home yesterday, flew home to Detroit, so the holiday is completely over, and now mom gets to clean the house. So yay me!
Mm-hmm.
But first, there is season 2, episode 8, The Mind Flayer of Stranger Things Has Happened, and why don't we chat about it? This was a freaking fantastic episode.
It was incredible, really. I mean, as far as there's been a lot of good episodes in this season, but this one kind of had a bit of it all.
Yeah. And once again, it was just like season 1, there was a story over here and a story over there and a story back there, and they all came together in this episode. So I really enjoyed it. There was one tiny little sad part though, but we'll get to that one.
Yeah. Is this the way season 1 played out to the episode right before the finale? Like all the storylines came together, and then the big showdown.
Yep, absolutely, exactly.
So maybe this is what we can expect going forward: is that every season we're going to get a new big bad guy, and we're going to work through whatever, and then the season finale is going to be the showdown.
Yeah, sounds like it should make sense that way. So we'll see what happens.
That's pretty much the crux of playing D&D. I mean,
there's always a big bad boss guy.
Yeah.
Yep. There's always little battles before you get to the big bad boss guy.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. So let's hop in. Speaking of hopping in, Hopper was the first person that we saw, which woohoo. Hopper and again, Dr. Paul Reiser. We learned his name last time, but it just never stuck.
Yeah, Dr. Paul.
Dr. Paul. They're watching the teen Demogorgons crawl out of their hole, and holy crap, they start headbutting the glass. And Hopper's like, "Are you sure this glass is gonna hold?" And Dr. Paul Reiser hits the alarm. And he's like, "Run away!" And everybody starts running away. Now, Hopper and Dr. Paul decide to take the stairwell, and everybody else runs for the elevator. And dude, if that's not a setup, I don't know what is.
Right.
But we hop over to Mike right away. Mike is grabbing a needle. We need to make a safe. He's screaming, and Joyce is like, "What do you mean?" And Mike's like, he's the spy. He's the spy. So Mike or Will starts screaming, "He's lying!" And all of this is happening really fast, one after the other. The elevator door opens, because last time we saw everybody was in the elevator, and the teenage Demogorgons are like, where, and the elevator door opens to all of those teenage Demogorgons having a little snack. They're just munching like potheads on a bag of Fritos.
Right.
They're just munching tough. So gunshots ring out, of course, and then we pan over to Will, Mike, Joyce, and Bob, and Bob's like, "I hear gunshots," and it's like, thanks for stating the obvious, Bob. Typical Bob. Typical Bob. Oh, those are gunshots. Duh, Bob. Poor Bob. And Joyce is like, "What?"
Goonies do say die.
Yeah, right. We'll get to that. Poor Pop. So Joyce is like grabbing Will, and she's like, "Do you know who I am?" And Will is like, Mom." So like Joyce
No,
knows
that's
that
not
he's
exactly what he
gone.
said. He
Well,
said, he said, he thought for a while, and then he was like, "Your mom,"
yes,
not mom, but
right.
memory, your mom.
Yeah. I hope it was YOU''RE, meaning you are mom, and not like yo mom, like
I think it was YOMOM.
yo mom.
Yo mom.
Yo mom. Yo mama. That would be quite 80s if he did do that.
Right.
Yeah. So Joyce is like, hold him down. And Supermom Joyce just is with the needle, and she sedates her son, knocks him the fuck out.
Like you do.
Which that was pretty cool. But just at that exact moment, the door opens, and I think you're expecting little Demogorgons to run in, but no, it's Hopper and Dr. Paul.
I didn't expect Demogorgons to run in.
I didn't either, but it was a possibility. But no, they're not going to eat like the stars of the show. So
right. Not right away, anyway.
Exactly. Maybe in season, hopefully never, but whatever. Anyway, like Hopper's like, we're gonna go, and they run into like this communications room with the million TVs, where the security cameras are all set up. And you look at all the TVs, and there are like Demogorgons like munching tough on people in every single corridor. It's like a bloodbath. So like, holy crap. And now cue the opening sequence. And that was like one hell of an opening for me. I was like,
right.
Wow. Nonstop action. I loved it.
No, it was pretty intense for what this episode's about. Oh, fuck.
Wow. So, cue the music and everything. And then all of a sudden, we see two people that we've never seen before. And they happen to be Billy and Max's mom and dad. And I was like, oh, wow. They do have parents.
It was Billy's dad and Max's mom.
Yeah. But yeah. So Max's mom.
A major point of contention.
Yeah. We realized that Billy is parented a lot more than I ever thought he was. Because when mom goes into Max's room, she finds a skateboard on the bed and the window open, and there's no Max. Mm-hmm. So, of course, we're going to walk over to Billy's room, and Billy's like being that guy in his mirror. He's getting ready for a date. He's got Metallica. First, Metallica Kill 'Em All poster on the wall. Like, hell yeah. And Four Horsemen's playing. And I was like, hell yeah. So that was pretty cool. But he's tweaking his little curls and his mullet, and he's putting on cologne, and then he shoves some cologne down his pants because that's what teenage guys do.
Chicks really love a mouthful of cologne.
Oh yeah. Chicks dig that. Yeah. Chicks don't really dig that. Please don't do that. Don't do that.
Just wash your balls. You sick fuck.
Just yeah, that's all you need. Anyway.
Yeah.
And he's like smoking a cigarette like it's the best sex that he's ever had. And they go in his room, open this door right now. And Dad finds that Billy is getting ready to go see his whores instead of babysitting Max. But Billy did make a valid point. Max is 13. Why does she need a babysitter?
In the
that's
80s,
true. In the 80s.
In the
In
80s,
the
I think I was
80s,
like 11 when I was left at home first, alone.
I was 10. I was 10,
Right.
and my little brother was just over a year old, and I was babysitting him. So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I was completely capable. We weren't neglected, yada, yada, yada.
But that was the 80s. Like, oh,
That was the 80s.
parenting by fucking absence.
Exactly. And Billy also said, I was watching her up until, you decided to be 3 hours late coming home. And valid point, but it's the way that he said it. And Dad goes and like throws Billy up against the wall.
Right.
He demands respect. Something that every 80s parent has said, I swear.
Oh, yeah. You will respect my authority.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was a common slogan of parents back in the 80s if you
Right.
talked back.
I won't be here for most everything that's going on, but damn it, if you don't treat me with some respect.
Absolutely. So, Billy's pinned up against the wall. Dad basically says, call your whore and cancel your date. You're going to go find Max right now. Cindy, Max's mom, she's kind of caught in the middle where she doesn't really know what to do and doesn't really approve of the husband doing that, but is not going to step on his parenting toes. So she's just like, Billy,
How's that go again? Okay, just checking.
Yeah, I'm a mom now. We make that noise sometimes. Billy's pinned up against the wall, responsibility, blah 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 blah, and he's like, "Yes, sir," and Dad's like, "I didn't hear you." "Yes, sir," and then Dad walks out. And Billy starts crying. So like,
that's the first time that guy showed anything that resembled acting chops.
Absolutely. So
his character's
wow.
been kind of obtuse.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to pan over to Dustin and Lucas and Steve and Max, who are walking along the railroad tracks in the dark. And they're questioning Dustin, like, are you sure that was Dart? How do you know that was Dart? And Dustin's like, I saw the little yellow patch on his ass.
Right.
Steve is like, they're talking back and forth, and Steve says something like, he ate Mew's, Mew Kitty. And
Kitty.
Yeah. And it totally outed Dustin to Lucas. And Lucas is like, you were supposed to get rid of that thing. And then Dustin outs Lucas for breaking the rules for telling the truth to a stranger. So, there's their conflict. It's out in the open right now. They start arguing back and forth. Steve hears roaring off in the distance, and Steve's like, would you guys knock it the fuck off? And, Steve starts walking towards the roaring to see what the hell it is. Dustin and Lucas kind of come too, and they start following, and Max is like, where are you guys going? So eventually Max follows. Now we're back at the lab. Okay. Dr. Paul, he exits. He starts saying that the exits are sealed when there's a power outage. And there was a power outage. Like, the whole facility is on complete lockdown at this point. Something about he needs the breakers reset to unlock the computer to reset it remotely, because Bob is asking all these nerd questions. And you know me, I have no sense of technology whatsoever. So I didn't absorb a single thing of what Bob starts saying in his computer language.
I did.
Not a damn thing. All I know is that at the end, Bob knows what to do. And he's like, remember, Bob Newby, superhero. And it's like, oh, Bob. Fucking Bob.
I was like, yeah, I know what the fuck's going on. Damn it, I'm a nerd.
Yeah. I did not grasp a single bit of that. Something like, if you reset the breakers, then the power will come back on. And then something with computers.
So basically, there's two ways that you can set up an electronic door. You can have the power hold the lock open, or and then in the absence of power, the lock naturally closes by whatever method, gravity or whatever. Usually it's gravity. Or you can have the opposite where the power opens a lock that is normally closed.
Right.
So in this case, because it's a secure facility, the default is locked, and you have to electronically open shit
through Computer Basic.
And it would be the language that they use, the programming language they used at the time was Basic.
Yeah, so, I remember Basic. I actually was good at Basic, but it all has to do with programming, like line 10, line 20, line 30.
Yeah,
but I didn't understand
it's
anything
all
else.
Switches and that kind of thing, and basic word commands. It's a piss poor user interface is all it is. It's basically all ones and zeros. Like it's just a basic user interface that sits on top of a bucket of ones and zeros.
Right.
I learned it years ago, but
I learned it years ago too. That was before we had internet.
Yeah, that was a Commodore. I learned that on a Commodore.
I think I don't know. It was probably a Commodore.
That or a Macintosh.
It definitely wasn't a Mac.
Well, they weren't Macs back then. They were Macintosh.
No, there was only one Macintosh in the whole entire school because it had a color monitor. So it had to have been the other one.
Yeah, Commodore.
Yeah. So, Bob.
Could have been a Trash 80.
It could have been.
Was it TRS 80? I think they were.
Yeah.
Did it have reel-to-reel tapes?
That is true. It's possible.
It's possible. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, Hopper and Bob. Fucking Bob. They go out into the hallway, okay? And Hopper raids a dead guy and takes his gun, and Bob grabs his little earpiece, and Hopper gives him a walkie, and he's like, "Do you know how to shoot a gun?" And Bob's like, "No." So Hopper gave him like a 2-second lesson on how to shoot a gun. And, Bob's like, "Oh, thanks." And Hopper's like, Right. So hey, that Kelly, was like,
your mic is just a touch hot.
Damn it. How do I fix that?
Just turn down the volume a little bit.
How's that?
Better. Well, maybe I'll let you know when you get loud again.
Yeah, I know. That's the whole key, huh?
When you were on with Jason the other night, you were super hot too.
I know, but I kept turning down my volume and I didn't know how to fix it. Like I just turned the volume down and now I can barely hear you, but I don't know if my microphone's fixed.
Where are you turning down the volume at?
Where it says volume, underneath the red light that says mute. Oh, that's headphone volume. Okay. Do I have to go into StreamYard and do that?
No, it's be in your computer settings. If there isn't a thing on the microphone itself, then
there's pattern and gain.
Turn your gain
down. The gain is all the way down.
Okay.
And then pattern, I have no clue what those symbols mean. It looks like a sideways 8, a circle, a cloud, and a regular number 8.
All right. Well, then let's not worry about it. We'll fuck with it another time.
Thanks. As I said before, guys, I am not techie, so
as long as you don't get super loud, it won't be an issue. It's just you're peaking is what it is.
Try not to get hyper. Got it. I shall try. That's like tying my hands together, and
Yeah,
telling me to
I
talk.
completely understand.
So we're back with Will and Nancy now. Will and Nancy, they cruise on up to the lab because remember they were coming back from weirdo reporter guy. Um, Nancy's like, the power's out. Like, thanks, Nancy. Like, Nancy was like totally duh.
Right.
But then Nancy sees something over in the woods and she's like screaming, "Who's there? Who's there?" And you see the flashlights dancing through the woods, and then out of the woods come Steve and Dustin and Max and Lucas. And Nancy's all like, or Nancy and Jonathan are all like, Steve, like, dude, it was such like a Scooby Doo moment. I actually wrote that Scooby Doo. It was so Scooby Doo. Um, so
All right,
the
Kelly, I
gang,
found it.
yeah,
Okay. You know where at the bottom where it says type here to search?
on StreamYard.
No, on your computer screen, your browser,
On the bottom
right next to the Windows thing.
next to the Windows thing.
There should be a search bar right next to your Windows thing in the bottom left-hand corner.
Um,
What browser are you running?
I have Windows, but there's like Windows, and then there's the weather, and then there's a file, and then there's a Firefox.
All right, I give up again. Carry on.
Okay. You know what you can do is just like talk to DB later because he'll know exactly what you're talking about and how to fix it. So I have no idea. Um, so where was I?
Fuck,
Jonathan and Nancy say that they're looking for Mike and Will. And Dustin's like, they're not in there, are they? And Nancy and Jonathan are like, why? And then they hear all the howls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was spooky. That was kind of spooky. So now Bob's in the basement. He finally gets down there. There's dead bodies everywhere, which, I started singing Corn in my head. If you're a Corn fan, you totally get it. He resets the power breaker. Nancy, again, with a severe case of the obvious, like, oh, the power's back. The gate won't open though. So, they're Dustin and freaking Jonathan are pushing the gate open button, but it's not working. Bob finds a computer. He overrides the lockdown. The gates open, and Dustin's like, "Oh, I got it," which is a little giggle. And Dr. Paul starts talking to Bob. Like there's Demogorgons in the West stairwell, which is the one that Bob needs to get out of where he is. Um, Bob has an idea. He hacks the sprinklers to distract the Demogorgons. Then he runs out of the room and fucking forgets the gun. It's like fucking Bob.
Right.
Dude.
Yeah, but I mean,
gun.
so to take it easy on Bob.
Mhm.
Hopper fucking shoots one with the fucking AK-47 shortly
Right.
after, and it doesn't seem much phased. So that 9mm round not really going to bother it.
That's true, but he could have heard it a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe pissed it off.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'll go easy on him, but still, it was like fucking Bob. Come on, dude. So Hopper grabs Will and Joyce and Mike, and they all start running since the front doors are finally open. Dr. Paul says he's going to stay back and gives Hopper the radio. Bob starts running up the stairs. Hopper gets Joyce and Mike and Will out of the building. Joyce is kind of lingering by the door saying, "Oh, Bob, we gotta wait for Bob." Dr. Paul guides Bob by watching the monitors. So, like, Dr. Paul is kind of being nice. So, I like him a little bit now, where I couldn't stand Dr. Paul this whole season, but I kind of like him a little bit now. He's guiding Bob through the hallways, and then he's like, "Get in the closet." And Bob's like, "Why?" It's like, "Just get in the closet now." And just freaking in time because the Demogorgon rounded the corner.
Yeah, right.
Fucking Bob. Why do you think he's telling you to get in the closet? Because he wants to play hide and go seek? Come on.
He wants to peek a pee-pee. So I just had to look because I'm inquiring minds.
Yeah.
The AK-47 takes a 39 millimeter round.
I don't know what that means.
Well,
I believe you.
It means it's 4 times as big as the one that's in that pistol.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't.
It makes a bigger hole, Kelly.
Makes a bigger hole. Gotcha. Chicks don't dig stuff like that, but
Well, I had to look it up, so I'm sure somebody on the internet will be like, "You're an idiot, Snooch. It really means this and not that." And fucking moron. You should know all about the shooty things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, nobody wants a bigger hole unless you're shooting a Demogorgon. So
yeah.
So or a bear. Yeah, it's true. Unless you're going to eat the bear.
Still, I don't think you give a shit how big the hole is. Then you're more worried about the fragments.
Yes. That.
Not like breaking your tooth on a fucking bullet fragment.
It's true. Valid point.
I watched a guy do that eating venison one time. Fuck.
Oh, fuck. For real?
Yeah.
Dude, that must have been fucking painful.
He didn't enjoy it at all.
I couldn't even watch somebody do that without losing it.
And I was just like, "See, I told you venison was gross."
Actually, I do enjoy venison.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Anyway, we sidebarred again.
39 millimeter.
39 millimeter, friends. So if you're going to shoot a Demogorgon, don't take the 9 millimeter. Go for the AK. Right? Yeah. Bigger holes.
Well, apparently the NATO endorsed one is 51 millimeter, so it's even bigger.
Big holes.
There you go, big holes.
Big holes. So Bob's hiding in this little fucking janitor's closet.
Fucking
Bob. And he watches the shadow of the Demogorgon walk right past his closet. And Bob's probably like shit in his pants right now. But eventually Dr. Paul comes on the radio and says, "You're good. You're good." Mm-hmm. And Bob's like, "Oh, good." And fucking Bob, he opens the door to that janitor's closet and the fucking broom falls on the floor. Like, Bob, you clumsy shit.
I can't imagine being in a situation that is that high stress,
mm-hmm.
and not like painstakingly make sure that you move through that space without making a fucking sound.
Right.
Haven't you ever played Operation? Like, what the fuck?
I have. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So down goes the fucking broom. The Demogorgon knows he's there. And these are all still teenage Demogorgons. They haven't done their adult molting yet. So they look like fucking dogs. Actually, somebody called them demi dogs.
Demon
and
dogs.
I'm like, that's perfect.
They called them demon dogs.
Demon dogs?
Which that's what demi means, is demon.
Yeah. Demon dogs.
Demon
That's
dogs.
basically what they are.
Yeah.
They look like dogs with the bleh on top, you know?
Except for the ones that are really flashy. Those are diamond dogs, and they hang out with David Bowie.
Nice. So, freaking Dr. Paul jumps on the radio and he's like, "Run!" And freaking Bob, he's running, but then he stops and he looks back. And then he starts running, and then he stops and he looks back. And then he gets through the main corridor to the lobby of the lab and closes the door, sees Joyce, and he's like, "Oh, hey." And like, "You stupid asshole." Because those Jimmy dogs, devil dogs, demon dogs,
David
they all
Bowie.
come crashing through. Well, the first one comes crashing through and like pounces on fucking Bob like he was gonna lick his face, except he starts eating him. And then like 3 more dogs come out and they start eating him. Like they're snacking on Bob. And Joyce is like, "Ah!" And Hopper's like, "I'm gonna shoot him now." And like you said, it wasn't doing anything.
They didn't give
And
a shit.
yeah, and Hopper's like, "We gotta go," you know. So grabs Joyce, you know. They run outside.
You know what? I'm kind of a dick.
Yeah.
We just had that whole conversation about the AK-47.
Yeah.
It wasn't an AK-47. I think it's a M4.
I didn't know, so
Maybe it's an M6. It was an M16.
M16, M4.
Yeah.
Those are all guns that I shoot on Call of Duty.
Yes, it's a 45 millimeter round in a M16. Oh well. Either way, much bigger.
Either way, none of them worked, and fucking Bob is dead.
Fucking
Bob.
Rip
Bob. Fucking Bob. Bob's like, ugh. So, fucking Bob. You know, but Bob had a little bit of meat on his bones, enough to feed those 4 teenage Demogorgons, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
you know what they're gonna do after they eat?
Take a nap.
The same thing they do every time. They fucking go into their chrysalis and then fucking molt again.
Oh shit, that's true. Yeah.
Every time. First it was the cat. Then it was
Bob is a meaty
wasn't it a
snack.
dog?
I don't think it ate a dog. I know it ate the cat. Did it eat the dog?
What's it ate something else? A deer, maybe.
Maybe it was a deer. Yeah.
The second molt, it ate something else.
You're right. I don't remember though.
Now it's
that was like
Bob.
a month ago. Now it's eating Bob. And Bob is quite the meaty snack. So yeah, they're gonna take a nap and then they're gonna molt. But Hopper, you know, and Joyce and Will is over Hopper's shoulder, and Mike, and they're about to run like, and then like, Jonathan pulls up with Nancy and is like, "Get in." So Jonathan to the rescue,
right?
And they leave, and all of a sudden, like, I guess they drove Hopper to his truck because, you know,
I'm
all
assuming
of a sudden
they were parked next to each other.
I have no idea, but all of a sudden, like, Jonathan and Nancy and Joyce and Will and Mike, they blow through the gate. You know, everybody else is like scrambling to get out of the way, and there's Hopper in his Hopper mobile, and you know, he picks up the rest of the kids and they leave too. And then we pan
That was
back.
a GMC Jimmy, I think.
Probably.
The Hopper mobile.
I don't know. It reminds me of DB's old Silverado.
Well, it's either a Chevy Blazer or a GMC Jimmy, but I think it's a GMC.
Right. I also don't know about cars. I'm bad with technology and bad with cars and not so good with guns.
Bronco.
You know. Yeah. Yeah. But you know, as everybody's leaving, we had to have the camera pan back to Bob that one final time to those Demogorgons just like chowing down. Rip Bob. Poor Bob. Fucking Bob.
It is a Chevy Blazer.
Silverado?
Nope, it's a. Well, yes, you're not wrong.
Yeah?
The Chevy Blazer, when they made the big Blazer, the K5
Yeah.
Blazer, it's
Yeah.
a Chevy Silverado, except it has a, instead of a bed, it has a full back end with seats and shit.
Yes,
But
that's what DB had.
from where the driver sits forward, there's no difference between that and the Silverado.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
The
All right.
drivetrain is the same, all that.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Yeah, it's the
I
same
learned
way
another
now.
thing today.
The Chevy Silverado and the GMC Sierra are both pickup trucks that look really similar. It's because they're exactly the fucking same. The only difference is the trim package. Just like
Sweet.
the Chevy Suburban is the same thing as the Silverado. It just is closed in instead of having a bed.
See, friends, you just don't want to watch us for Stranger Things reviews.
Yeah.
We also give you some like
Yeah, we get into what Hopper's driving or shooting or
shooting
fucking
or
Bob.
fucking Bob. Well, we won't get into fucking Bob anymore.
Well, maybe.
Unless we get the ghost of Bob
Yeah,
next
the ghost of Bob.
show. Yeah, the ghost, fucking ghost of Bob.
That'll be funny. Yeah, fucking ghost of Bob again. I love that every time we talk about Bob now, we go like full North Dakota.
Yeah, fucking Bob.
Fucking Fargo. Fucking Bob.
Oh, fucking Bob. So now we're into the second half of the show, which this episode was only like 45 minutes or so, and it seemed like two different shows.
Mm-hmm.
We're at Joyce's house. What's that?
We better hurry if we still have half the show to talk about.
Oh yeah, we will. Don't worry, I got this. At Joyce's house, Jonathan apologizes to a sedated Will. Hopper's on the phone. The rest of the gang's in the kitchen. We can't. We're gonna stay here and wait for help. Hopper's saying, because everybody's like, "What the fuck are we supposed to do now?" And then Hopper decides to check on Joyce. I think it was. I wrote down Demodogs, because I think it was Dustin that called them Demodogs, and I'm like, yeah, they are kind of like dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Mike is now talking, because Mike, the leader of the gang, he's so super smart. He's like, basically, if we stop the Shadow Monster, we can stop his army, because they have that hive mentality. So now they know what they have to do, but they don't know how to do it. That kind of triggered Dustin to bring out his encyclopedia of fucking Dungeons and Dragons, and he associates that with the Mind Flayer. He wants to conquer it, kill it, and kill everything it controls. No, he wants to conquer the shadow demon, and if you kill it, you can kill everything that it controls.
Mm-hmm.
Will would know how to stop it, but Will's kind of like, woo. And then like Mike says, he can't be a spy if he doesn't know where he is. So now we kind of like go into like a dragged out montage, because everybody's all set on making the shed in the backyard into an interrogation room that when Will wakes up, he's never going to recognize. So Nancy and Steve start converting the shed by hanging up tarps, and they're having a little chat. And then Dustin and Lucas are going through garbage, and Dustin apologizes. And he actually gets it out in the open how he caught Lucas and so Max holding hands. And Lucas is like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she was just scared. And Dustin's like, I saw the electricity between you two. So now it's out in the open. Max and Mike, they're taping up the furniture so that, when Will wakes up, he won't recognize the furniture.
Right.
And Max brings up Elle. Mike is still kind of standoffish with Max, but Max actually sees how hurt Mike is. Like, he's like really hurting that Elle's not there and that she's gone. And then there's Joyce and Jonathan. They all go and finish converting the shed. They tie Will up, and Hopper takes out the ammonia, and he wakes up Will. So Steve, Nancy, Dustin, Lucas, and Max are all awkwardly waiting in the house. Because it's like they all got everything out that they should have gotten out, and they're all kind of like, now I don't know what to do, very awkward. Max is asking Lucas, well, what happens if we can't, defeat the shadow monster? And Lucas is like, Judgment Day. So like, holy shit. So now we're with Hopper, Joyce, Jonathan, and Mike in the shed. Will wakes up. He starts freaking out. The lights are all going squirrely on the property. Hopper, I like this part. He just hugged him until he calmed down. And I was like, oh, I really like that part. It's something very tiny.
Is that what,
but I like
the way you took that?
That's how I took that.
I thought he was restraining him so he didn't bash his head against the pole behind him.
Oh, I thought he was hugging him and then he calmed down.
You're such a mom.
I'm such a girl.
I legitimately think that he was holding him so he didn't break the fucking chair and bash his head against the pole.
Well, maybe he was doing that too. He could have been doing both. It was nice and it served a purpose.
It was nice.
It was nice. That was nice. So Joyce starts talking about how, do you know what March 22nd is? March 22nd is your birthday. And for your 8th birthday, I bought you like blah, 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 1,000,000 crayons. And you drew the most beautiful picture. And I brought it to work and I was proud of you. And then it's Jonathan's turn. Remember when we built Castle Byers? It rained and we were sick for weeks after that, but we got it done. And then Mike is, you remember the first day of kindergarten? I was all alone, and then I looked outside and you were swinging by yourself and you were all alone, and I was like, let's be friends. So they're trying to get through to Will with all of these happy memories since he's like full on possession of the shadow demon right now.
Right.
Yeah,
there doesn't seem to be a lot of Will in there.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the
There's like
ability to
nothing
be
in those eyes.
Earlier, they were fighting for control.
Yeah. There's like nothing behind those eyes anymore. But and then he starts screaming again to let him go. But then Hopper's like looking at him from a distance, and he's doing Morse code under his seat. Like he's like doing taps and everything. And Hopper, being the cop that he is, knew exactly what it was.
Hopper the
Copper. Hopper. I like that. Jonathan, he goes and gets the radio and the mixtape, the boombox, and starts playing Should I Stay or Should I Go Now? Hopper, in the meantime, they're just trying to drag it out because they deciphered the first couple of taps that he was doing, and it was Will saying that he was here. So Will is there. You just can't see it.
Right.
Shadow monster's taken over. So they get like this full on thingamajigger, whatever you want to call it, where Hopper is doing the Morse code, like he's watching Will, and then by the radio, he's kind of doing the Morse code with
Yeah. So
the
what's the thingamajigger
TV.
that you're referring to?
Like a powwow assembly line Morse code club. I don't know. I can't put it into words yet.
All right.
Shindig. It's like a shindig where Hopper's, signaling the Morse
Yeah.
code, and then Dustin is receiving that and writing down the Morse code, and then Lucas and Max are translating the Morse code. So it's like a shindig. I think that's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go with shindig.
And Mike, Jonathan, and what's her name, Joyce. They're still pumping the memories, trying to distract the Demigorgon, so that Will could work his thing. They're done translating at this point, though, and Will had signaled the way to defeat him is to close the gate. So,
Which seems like
so
beyond basic. Like you shouldn't even have to be told that. Like, hey, the things are coming out of the hole. Close the hole.
Right. If they would have closed the hole in the first place instead of continuing to go in and burning everything, whatever.
Maybe they can't. Maybe they don't know how.
Maybe.
Elle might be the only one.
Elle probably knows. Exactly. Elle would know. So the phone rings back in the house, and Nancy picks up the phone, rips it off the wall. Will he's starting to call the Demogorgons because his eyes rolled in the back of his head, and you could tell he's doing some dream sleep communication.
Mm-hmm.
So they sedate him again. Who was it? Joyce? Did Joyce sedate him or?
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody grabbed the needle and sedated him again. So, because he was starting to call the Demogorgons and tell them where he is.
I'm pretty sure that you don't just inject sedatives into muscle.
Right. And just
it's more delicate. But maybe. No, I take that back.
Yeah.
Like if you were in a psych ward or whatever,
yeah,
they'd fucking just punch you with it. Bam.
Mm-hmm.
To drop you. Yeah. So maybe that's I'll shut my face hole. I seen it.
I don't even know. We don't even know what kind of medication it was. For all we know, we have no clue what they were injecting him with.
I know. I can look it up. Tripafol? No. Carry on. I'll look it up.
Okay. Sounds good. So Hopper's like, shit, they're coming, and everybody goes into the house now, okay? And Will is unconscious, he's completely sedated. So, they just, I don't know where they threw him, probably threw him on a bed or something. But they're all in the house now, and I wrote this down. Hopper has a gun. And Nancy has a gun, and Lucas has his slingshot, and Steve has his bat, and Mike has a trophy, but okay. He's gonna whack it with the trophy, but more power to you. And then there's the Demogorgons right outside, and the bushes are rustling outside that window, and then all of a sudden, a dead Demogorgon just flies through the window and falls on the floor, and it's dead. What the fuck? And when I first saw that, I was like, ooh, maybe it's Dart, maybe Dart is still loyal to Dustin, and then Dart came and got the Demogorgon and flung it in there, but then
what did I say? Toradol?
I don't think you said Toradol.
It's the Razapam.
Oh, yeah.
Lorazepam and haloperidol.
Yeah.
And they mix it up in a little fucking cocktail, and then bink.
How did they know?
How
To
did who
mix
know?
it up. Like they didn't mix anything.
It
They
was
just
from the hospital. They grabbed him. She grabbed him on their way out.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense. I must have missed that part.
Well, she got him with the one there, and then when Hopper snatched him up, she grabbed a couple more off the table.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So the door. Okay.
Lorazepam. Fuck off.
You never know what you're going to learn on this show, guys. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But the door, Don. The door. You see the lock, like start to open, and it falls down, and you see the doorknob start to move, and everybody's all posed, in attack mode. They're ready. They're ready.
Yeah.
And the door opens.
And it's Matt Damon.
It's fucking Elle. Oh my gosh. I teared up. I'm sorry because Elle walks in and then everybody's shocked. And then the shock wears off of Mike's face and he sees Elle and Elle sees him. And I was like, oh.
That was pretty much my response, except I knew it was Elle when the dead Demogorgon flew through the window.
I didn't. I honestly thought it was Dart.
You forgot that she was coming?
I thought she wasn't going to come until next episode.
Oh.
Yeah. I thought it was Dart.
Well, shame on you.
Oh. She's back.
It may have been Dart. That may have been Dart that came flying through the fucking window.
Oh, you never know. It could be a dead Dart.
I wonder if we're going to revisit which one of these Demogorgons is Dart.
I think we will. I really feel strongly that Dart has a loyalty to Dustin now.
It may be like it may come down to like Dustin's about ready to get murked and Dart shows up and it's like, fuck off.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm going to eat it myself.
Yeah. So, and that's the end of the episode. It's a great ending to the episode. It was a great episode.
It was a great episode.
I had to pause it several times and be like, what the fuck? And what the fuck? and fucking Bob.
Bob Jerky.
Rip Bob. Bob's gone.
Did you notice like the second time you come back to Bob that there was like a pattern of all the little teeth that went into his side?
No.
Yeah, it looked like he got shot with fucking birdshot.
Hopper killed him too?
No, but like when the Demogorgon opens his mouth, it's got all those rows of teeth.
All those rows of teeth,
and you can see like all the like rows of teeth puncture wounds in the side of Bob.
Yeah.
Because that was where he got bit first. Like
he was bit, and also the Demogorgon like with its claws into the side of him too.
That's how he got Bob to drop his guard, but then he bit Bob like would have been on this side.
Fucking Bob.
Bob went down so easy.
Well, he's a soft boy, so.
But the thing about the whole Bob thing is he did every horror movie trope there was. He left his weapon, then he failed to make sure he didn't make any noise. Then when he took off running, well, first he hesitated.
And he looked backwards. Like, and Bob, then stop!
4 or 5 times as he's running, he's looking behind him, which is dumb. Then just because he closed the door, after watching these things come through doors, he's like, the door will hold him. Like, fuck off, Bob.
And he sees Joyce, and he's like, oh, hey, honey, look what I did.
Yeah, 100% like, bullshit. In real life, a dude comes through that door. He's like, you better fucking run, bitch.
Yeah.
We're going.
Seriously.
Right, like, get to the chopper. We'll
Fucking
hug
Bob.
later. Fuck off. Let's go.
Yeah. Wow, the sun just came out for the first time in several days.
It's seriously bright. It lit up that whole room.
It is 2:30 in the afternoon
Wow.
Eastern time on Saturday. We are pre-recording this because that's what we do. Because we go live on what do we go live? Do we go live on season finales?
Yeah, live on the finales.
And the Hawkins hangout, mid-season hangout. So we gotta go live next week.
Next week, yeah.
Holy crap. We gotta go live next week, guys.
Yeah, I don't think I got anything next Saturday.
I don't think I do either.
Yeah, so I think we're probably good for next Saturday evening.
Okay, guys, you heard it here. We'll be live next week, Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Please join us in the live chat.
If something comes up, we'll let you know.
Yeah. Stay tuned to our Twitter because that's where all the updates are posted. Holy crap, is it sunny? It hurts. I'm burning.
That's funny. The vampire's dying. All right, we've got no time left, so let's call it.
Sounds good.
Hopefully, we'll see you guys live next week.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks
Bye,
for hanging
friends.
out with us. Bye, friends.